So you're newer to betting baseball. You're typically an NBA guy, an NFL guy. You're just trying to figure out, Noble, like, I don't know how to find winners betting baseball, but I want to be successful. What should I do? What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living, back with another DYF Bets video for you, where I'm breaking down strategies, tips, and educational ways that you can get better as a bettor. So this way now you're not risking so much money or losing money, but you're actually looking at this marketplace as an extra source of income for you. So now you can get this money and reinvest it into stocks or your business or something that you like and enjoy. Maybe just use it to go on a trip. Doesn't matter. But one of the best ways for you to run up the bag and to get money is betting baseball. I can drop you screenshots. You can see one right here. You can see one right here. Here's another one right here. Just baseball winners. Thousands of dollars I've made betting baseball. And I want to give you my 3 strategies, my 3 things that you need to pay attention to when you're betting baseball, so this way you can be successful. The first thing, and truthfully the most important thing, is the pitching matchups. Because at the end of the day, the pitchers, I'm not saying it's the only thing that matters, but they're really the main thing that matters. So let's start with the starting pitchers. Every game, you're going to have 2 starting pitchers. If there's not a starting pitcher listed, then guess what? There's not going to be a line on that game. They do not drop a line until a starting pitcher is announced. And then you want to pay attention to the starting pitcher matchups, because typically these starting pitchers are going to be going 4, 5, 6, 7 innings. They have the ability to dictate the entire game depending on how good they're pitching. The main thing that you want to pay attention to, and the main stat, is ERA. It stands for earned run average. Simply, this just means how many runs do these pitchers give up for the amount of innings that they pitch. Pitchers with high ERAs mean they give up a lot of runs. Pitchers with low ERAs mean that they don't give up a lot of runs. Typically, an ERA around 2 and below is really, really good. 2 to 3 is moderate, and then anything above 3, when you start getting to 4, 5, 6, you're looking at a pitcher who's not that very good. So when you're looking at the game before it starts, just look at the pitching matchup. How are these pitchers lined up? Sometimes the wins and loss don't matter as much, because a pitcher can still win a start even if he gave up 10 runs if his offense gave him 11 runs of support. So that's why you don't want to be so stuck on the wins and losses of pitchers, but you really want to focus more on the ERA, because now it shows you how many runs they give up per their starts, and that's really going to help you when you're looking at the head-to-head matchups, because typically the pitcher with the lower ERA is going to be the one that probably pitches better. But once you start understanding the pitchers, then from there, the second thing that you want to look at is the lineups, right? Because in baseball, you got to score runs to win at the end of the day. But the reason why you have to look at the pitchers first is because typically hitting does not matter as much in baseball as the pitchers do, in my personal opinion. Let's put it into perspective. When you watch a baseball game and you look at a hitter's stats, the best hitters in the league are going to be batting around 300, 350. I think the highest batting average of all time was like Tony Gwynn or Ted Williams back in the day, and it was like close to 400. So that means that for one of the best hitters in all of baseball, they're really only hitting the ball 30 to 35% of the time. Think about that. That's the amount of time that they're getting on base, and that's considered a really, really good batting average. So that is why the pitching is more important. But then when you're looking at the lineups, you want teams that have higher batting averages, in the 300s, in the 200s. Why? Because that means that they typically get a lot of guys on base. And then from there, you want to look at what they do in terms of runs per game and converting runners in scoring position. When you get a base runner on second or third base, that means that there's a runner in scoring position. You want teams that convert and knock in these runners, because that means that they're scoring a lot of runs, or they're taking advantage of the opportunity for them to be able to score points. Then that's why the lineups are so important, because there's some lineups out here that are hitting the ball terribly. They have low averages in terms of runners in scoring position, and as a result, that affects their team, because even if their pitcher is lights out, let's just say he goes 7 innings and gives up 1 run, if they don't score any runs, he's still going to lose. The team is still going to lose. So you want to make sure that you're backing teams that have really good lineup, because that way it helps pick up the slack just in case a pitcher is having a bad day, or maybe it's one of the lower guys in the rotation. So therefore, they're not really the star or the ace. The best pitcher is typically known as an ace, if you didn't know that. So maybe that might be the case. So because of that, the lineups are really important, and that's the second thing that you really want to look at. Now, the third and final thing that you really want to pay attention to when you're betting baseball so this way you can be successful is first joining our Discord group where we're dropping winners every day. That's one way that you can be successful. But another thing is paying attention to the odds, because there's a lot of value that you can win when you're betting baseball, because there are a ton of underdogs who are going to win a lot of games. Now, if I gave you a little trivia stat and I asked you, who do you think is the most profitable team in terms of betting baseball over the last few years? I bet if you follow the sport even casually, you're going to say the Yankees, you're going to say the Dodgers, and then you might even say the Braves, the team that I'm wearing right now. And why do you think that is, right? Because maybe because they're really good teams. They have all the stars like Aaron Judge.
Drill deep to left field. There it goes!
Those are all great reasons why to back them, but that is also another reason why they're one of the least profitable teams in all of baseball, because typically they're really big favorites in every game that they play. So because there's 162 games in a season, you have to be realistic. These teams are going to lose games. That's where it's different than the NFL and NBA. Like in the NFL, a team can go 15-2. In the NBA, a team can win 60 of their 82 games. In baseball, the best team is still really going to win 100 games, maybe 110 max. So because of that, they're still going to lose 50 to 60, 70 times in a year. And when they're really big favorites at minus 200, minus 180, and you lose on that game, then guess what happens? That really hurts your bankroll. That really hurts your pockets. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the odds. And there are just some games that it doesn't make sense to take a team, even if they're really big favorites. Why? Because you're laying too much money. And if they do happen to lose, which is bound to happen, it's going to really significantly hurt your bankroll because you're laying way too much money. And one thing that you can really do is when you're looking at the odds is look for teams like, you can look at some favorites for minus 150, minus 160. You're going to have to lay that in baseball. I'm going to be honest with you. It's different than football or basketball because those sports have spreads. In baseball, there's only a run line, which means that every game is either minus 1.5 or plus 1.5. That's the only spread that you have. Minus 1.5 or plus 1.5. So because of that, because the spread doesn't move, the odds move. In NFL and basketball, the spread moves more than the odds moves. Let's just say a person puts a lot of money on the Lakers minus 4, then the books are going to move it to Lakers minus 5 and Lakers minus 6. In baseball, they're not moving the run line. They're just going to move the odds. So that's why it's really important that when you're betting baseball, you not only pay attention to the pitchers, you're not only paying attention to the lineups, but you have to make sure you know how much you're risking, because that is going to be the only way you're going to be sustainable through the marathon and the 162 games in a course of a year. And it's really 1,000+ games because each team plays that amount of games, 162. So 30 times 162, you do the math on that. And that tells you the amount of opportunities through the course of an entire season, April through October, that you have the ability to make this type of money. You want to make sure that you're not over leveraging, laying too much money for losers, and at the same time, you're paying attention to the lineups and the pitchers, because those are going to be the three things that are going to make you a lot of money betting baseball. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it real simple. And there's more than enough games for you to get your feet wet, practice, and see what's working and what's not, and make adjustments along the way. And I hope that you take this video and you're able to make these adjustments into your betting strategy, so this way you can continue to be profitable and be a better bettor. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Make sure you hit that like button and drop a comment if you found some value in this. And as always, dictate your fate, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's go.